Hello everybody, welcome to episode 5. This is definitely episode 5, I've got it right this time because I've just edited the last one and at least now I know for sure. So I haven't lost count this time. Now, November, we're going to have a look at the chickens, see how many eggs we've got. We're going to have a look at the lettuce, see if that greenhouse has produced any, even a pallet's worth. That would be pretty good. I've just noticed it's doing that kind of weird flickering tree thing. I don't know why it does it. It used to do it originally when the game first came out, and I thought it was something that was patched and repaired. So it's not done it before. I don't think it's down to my graphics settings, so we'll just kind of ignore it today. But yeah, that was definitely something that used to happen, and I've not seen that for a few months now. So kind of weird. But let's have a look. Now it doesn't look like we've got a lot more, if I'm honest. But what have we got? 66 pieces. Okay, that's nowhere near the half a pallet that I was hoping we would have by today, but we may still sell them anyway. Now we have got some lettuce here, which is good. I've done all of this and I've not even looked to see what the lettuce is worth or even when the best month is to sell it, so I'll have to look in a second. Now these are, okay, they're 500 litres a pallet, so that would explain why it's generated one already. The yield from these greenhouses isn't actually that bad, so if I can just find it a moment. So, I mean, that's pretty good, to be honest with you. So it generates 11 72 times for every day that we skip, so that's not too bad. It's not really used a huge amount of water, seeds or fertilizer, I don't believe, so that's going to generate us a decent bit of money in the background there. So definitely got one salad there ready to go. Just while we're in the menu, let's have a little look, because I don't know where we can sell it or how much for, or even when we should sell it, so we'll just find out a moment. Brilliant, no selling point available, so at some point in this episode I'll have to jump in again and do what I did last time. But okay, so £3,354 in February. Now based on the 500 litres there, we'll probably have a couple of thousand by that time, so we've got maybe £6,000 or £7,000 there in the next 4 game days, so that's pretty good, definitely worth it, as long as the water lasts that long. Now, the beginning of the last episode I was kind of a bit confused about money. I thought it deducted quite a lot of money just through property maintenance, but actually it didn't. It's not too bad at all. It's realistic. I think it's about 170, £180. The reason it went down was my own fault, because I forgot I'd spent money on the tent. So that explains that anyway. So realistic. It probably would have made it a little bit challenging at the beginning if it was deducting £300 or £400 a night. So yeah, right, let's just start the day, have a look at the used. And we're way off anything on there. I have been having a think, and I'll just quickly go into the tractors. So I'm not going to go for the John Deere, although I really like it. I'm just thinking ahead, and actually, if I can find it, it is really cool, but it's 50 horsepower and you can't edit that, you can't increase that. Going back to the International, which was my first choice, what you can actually do is change the engine setup, which seems to change the design slightly, but every time you do it, it increases the horsepower. So that, for example, kind of like a semi-cab thing going on there, actually also increases the horsepower to 72. And it's only 800 quid, so that's pretty cool. That's still, within reason, still certainly a starter tractor, and we would need to expand from that. But that jump from 50 to 70 would be pretty helpful. So when we get it, we'll start on the basic. We'll go straight in at 7,000, but it just gives us a little bit of play there. Oh, and you can put a little weight on it as well, so that's great. That'll help with the water trailer. So I'm certain on that. I'm certain that's where we're going to go. But we need another 5,000. So we're not going to make as much money as what I was hoping. So we have potentially got in terms of decent trees, 2 decent trees and a kind of semi-decent tree, which we could potentially get rid of. To be honest, they kind of look a bit random, they're all on their own anyway. And they're not really the kind of trees you would probably expect to see around here. So that may be something to do. I really wanted to resist collecting too many collectibles, but at the same time I don't want to do an episode that's going to be a little bit boring. Obviously we've got stuff to get on with, so just while I remember, just going to speed up that time. I'll try and stick it back with ×10 again. What did I say? 66 eggs. Is that even worth the drive? The advantage of doing it, albeit it's not very much, is we get to explore a new area. Maybe if there's any collectibles directly in our path, we can pick 1 or 2 up. Yeah, to be honest, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's just get rid of them. So that's going to be our first thing. Now I was thinking, so initially I said as a rule, I only wanted to do the contracts if I own the equipment. Now, purchasing a tractor is the priority. However, I know it's a pretty good contract to do, and that is fertilizing. So the second purchase, to follow that directly on, I think should be a very small fertilizer spreader, which will give us some extra money. I haven't got super strength on. I am able to pick this up, just to clarify. Although if I'm honest, just on that, in real life, I think, you know, if you had a whole pallet full of eggs and you needed to put them into a van, you would just stack the eggs individually into the van. So from an egg point of view, I think even when they're full pallets, I think I probably will use the super strength to load them up. It's a bit extreme using a front loader to pick up some eggs. So I'm pretty sure I textured out that grass and it's grown back again, which is a little bit annoying, and I don't know why that is. This ground texture, by the way, I couldn't quite figure out why it wasn't charging me, but this particular one doesn't seem to charge you, because I haven't got that mod installed, but I didn't pay for any of that, so I wonder if that's why the grass has grown through. It just kind of sees it as a standard in-game texture, maybe. I'm not too sure. It's a bit strange that, but this one here, which is the mud texture, hasn't grown grass back through it. So, and I'm pretty sure it charged me for that. So I might have to redo that at some point, to be honest, and just use a different texture. But let's go. So what do we have? Just have a look at that a moment. Oh, it's not actually telling me. Okay, I'm pretty sure it's something like 66 or about 70, so let's press the right button. That would be a good start. Now let's head off to the new egg tent that I placed. I've never used that egg tent mod before, so I'm assuming you just literally pull up to it and sell from it. I'm guessing it doesn't work as like a production, but we will soon find out. So, if I remember correctly, it's in this direction. I think what I might do on the way back as well is just go via the shop, or via the new garage, the new maintenance area that I set up, and just see whether or not you can actually put a tow hitch on this van. I'm pretty sure you couldn't, but it was a few hours of gameplay since I actually purchased a van to set this particular survival mode up. So I am going to go back and double check, because that would be quite handy. The IBC in the last episode would not unload in that greenhouse, so I did have to, dare I say it, cheat a little bit. I did have to use some initiative to get that IBC to unload in the greenhouse, and I will not be doing that again. So a trailer certainly is a priority, just so that we can keep using that, because I think that's going to help. I think we need that right at the beginning. We do definitely need something that's going to help us with some money, because after those trees are gone, that is it. Right, so let's have a look, let's watch through the window, and I assume I just pull into it. Yeah, there we go. So £280. I mean, that's not bad. Was that guy there a minute ago? I'm sure he once sat there a minute ago. That was a bit strange. That's quite cool though. I wonder if I put more eggs in there, if it'll fill his little table up. Who knows? Wow, that's a convenient little mod that. Oh no, there's a collectible in our way. I better just pick that one up a minute while we're passing. Good, okay. Right, let's head back. Tell you what, while we're here, let's just top up with a little bit of fuel, shall we? Right, let's stop the engine, get some fuel. Oh, what's that in our way? Let's just grab that while we're passing. Right, okay. So, I've got the manual filling mod on. Yeah, it doesn't want to fill. Which is interesting. Why is that? That is interesting. Now that we're here, I am just going to figure out why it won't fill up, because that's going to be a bit of a pain. If we can't actually fill up from here, then I'll probably have to place a new fuel station as well anyway when I start doing the editing, so let's just try in the middle. Is there a certain point on this truck? Maybe it's just this, maybe this doesn't, this mod, this van, maybe this doesn't work with the in-game fuel systems. I don't know. What you'd expect to see is the gas value in the top corner going down. And it isn't. Shut the engine off. Okay. And it doesn't give me the refill option, does it, in the car? No. Okay, strange. That's a little bit frustrating, if I'm honest with you. But I'll leave it for a minute. I didn't actually need fuel. I was just, I don't know if you realised, but I was just pretending so I could get a cheeky little collectible on the way. So let's continue. Let's follow this road, head to the garage, and see whether or not we can get a tow hitch fitted. I'm certain we can. I'm pretty sure, but we will just check a minute. I don't know if you can see it there in the recording quality, but the recent mod where it gives you kind of realistic exhaust is pretty cool. I like that. It's one of the better mods I think that I've seen. So obviously I've lowered the maintenance right down to 20%, and you can just see the black smoke coming out of the exhaust. I really like that feature. That's pretty cool. Right, let's try not to drift around the corner. Let's pull into this garage. I do really like this mod in here, by the way, as well. This is the I can't remember what it's called actually, but it is the one that lifts you up. The only thing I have noticed is when it lifts you up, it doesn't drop you down. But I'm just going to try it with this mod. So one of these sides here. Yeah, I do like that. That is pretty cool. Although we just got stuck under nothing. Yeah, that's cool. Right, let's have a look. Interesting. It doesn't actually recognise the van is in here. Yeah, there we go. It seems to, and that's not the van, that's this particular mod. It seems to do that quite a lot. Well, it does it every time, in fact, it does it even with big heavy tractors. And as soon as you get in it, it drops to the ground. But other than that, I like it. No, why does it not recognise that? Let's pull forward a bit. going to go with that being another little downside to the mods. So that could be a bit annoying because it's not going to be long before this stops starting. Oh, those flowers look quite nice though, don't they? Oh, nice. Oh, look, a toy. Let's get that over here. Ideal, there we go. Look, I think we're a couple of trees away from buying our first tractor. That was convenient. So yeah, let's head back to the yard. And yeah, we're going to have a think. So I mentioned before, I really do like this van. However, if we had too many problems with it being kind of an untested mod, we would get rid of it and find something equivalent. I don't want to do that. I can use the easy dev mods and things to adjust the maintenance level. So maybe just to keep this mod going and keep this van in place, certainly until they hopefully do an update. I'll probably just charge ourselves to do that and then just manually do it through the F12 settings, just so we can continue using it. I think that's fair enough. We'll figure out how much it would be to repair. Right, okay, let's put back here. So I apologise once again, but what I'm going to do is a couple of trees, chop them down. I'll speed it up again because I know it can kind of get a bit boring. I don't really want to cut it out too often if I can help it, because at least then you can see that I'm doing it the correct way, and I'm not being cheeky with the super strength or anything like that. So this time worked quite well last time to throw it through. So I'm going to reverse this up here and see if I can actually throw any into the back. That would be helpful. Okay, right, so chainsaw's out. Let's get chopping these, certainly these two big trees done, and I'll catch you again in a moment. Okay, so loaded up. As you can see, the usual standard, the usual quality of loading, very safe. I think this van might have some holes in the side panels. Those flickering trees are a little bit annoying. I think at this rate I'm going to have to put a little disclaimer up at the beginning of the video about flashing images. They are a little bit irritating, so after this recording, once I finish doing this, I will just have a little double check on my settings, but it only seems to be the ones that are affected by kind of autumn. You know, the firs and everything are fine, so hopefully it might fix itself. Maybe it's a November thing, and when we skip to December it will be better, but it does make me wonder that what's it going to be like if it does decide to snow, because yeah, that will basically be the whole map flickering, which is what it used to do before they patched it. So okay, we'll find out what this is worth. As you can tell, again, it's doing that thing where I'm kind of stuck in the car, so because we're close, I'll teleport ourselves to the sawmill. I'll just do it that way. Right, so 5,200 exactly. What's this worth? £2,119. Brilliant. So I think that's it, to be honest with you. I think that will, if I worked it out correctly, that will get us our first tractor, which would be amazing. So it's going to be the International. Now I'm just going to drive this back up to the yard. Potentially, you know, there's probably about half a tree, maybe 2/3 of the tree there still in that shed. So that may be enough to get us a fertilizer spreader. There are a lot available. I stuck with the mod hub ones on these ones, and there are some really basic ones. So I think for like 800-900 quid you can get a small fertilizer spreader. It only has quite a small spread on it. However, these fields are also quite small. In fact, I think that's one of the larger fields. So we'll be able to get some small but decent fertilizer contracts, I'm sure. So we'll just park this back up in that shed just in front of where I left all that timber. We'll get the tractor, we'll give it a little drive, bring it back to the yard, just have a look, get a rough idea of what contracts are available and how much they're going to earn us, because they're not huge paying. I do feel that when you have a game setting on easy, the contracts are just they're too much money. It's a bit unrealistic, but they don't seem to be too bad on this because the fields are so small. They don't pay a great deal, so that's fine. That works for us. That works for this kind of game style. So right, just the one lettuce there still. Alright, so let's just reverse this back up in here. So I noticed on I started the day at 9 o'clock because it's November, and it's pretty dark when you start at 7, which is what I like to do. So I skipped it through to 9. We put it on to times 10. We are already at 2. Now obviously it doesn't feel like that long because by this point I would have time lapsed all of the logging and the tree cutting, but we have gone through the day pretty quickly. So I'll keep an eye on it. I wonder if times 10 may be a bit too much. The used shop hasn't changed. I really keep hoping that tractor is in there, but it does seem a bit of a rarity when you have too many modded vehicles actually in the shop. It seems to be more of the base game stuff more often, but we'll have a look. So International, I did say before you don't really see them around here, and you don't, but I've also not seen that on any other Let's Plays, because you know there's a lot of YouTubers, as I'm sure with yourselves, there's a lot of people that it's good to watch, and I've not seen anyone use this yet, so let's go with this one. So we ain't going to need a front weight, especially at £3 grand. That's interesting to know for the future. £4,500. I wonder what kind of front attacher that would need. Again, we don't need to do the engine setup, but I mean, how is that £2,500? Yeah, that's only 800 quid. That don't really make sense. But in the future, definitely, but not right now, because we can't afford to make this any more than 7,000. Wheel setup, does that change the price? I did check this before. So that does, but we don't need that. What do I prefer, chunky tyres or the thin ones? Really doesn't make any difference, does it? I personally think it doesn't matter. It doesn't. That's been too long. Okay, £7,000. So it's going to put us down to 319. But we have got our first tractor, which is amazing. So let's skip to that. Okay, I did actually, I'm just going to set it up very quickly. If this takes me too long, I'll cut it out, but I did install it. It's a mod I use a lot, and for some reason I uninstalled it, but it's the vehicle park mod, or park vehicles. Now, it's really good, because when you skip and teleport through, you can determine which ones you skip to and which ones you don't. Now, what I'm just going to do quickly is preset it to my controller. If I can find where it is, part vehicle, there we go. RB and A. Oh, okay. No, so it's still there. So I uninstalled the mod without realizing, but it's still got my preset. The only problem is the preset doesn't work because that is the same preset as the horn. Now, when you do in single player, you don't need a horn. So I normally just turn the horn off wherever that is. I'm assuming right near the top somewhere. Honk, honk. There you go. Right, RB and A. Get rid of that. So, save my controls. Brilliant. And there we go. So right in the bottom corner there, I do have my HUD on very, very small. I might increase that actually because I know it's hard to see, but you can see the little red circle there, hopefully, which keeps appearing, disappearing. So, right, let's put that onto there. Let's also put that onto that one, and not onto this one. Look at that. I like the sound of it as well. Ooh, it's fast. Right, £319, amazing. I'm not going to be going to collect those for a while. That was a bit cheeky, but I kind of wanted to do something other than repeatedly show everyone the menu screen all episode, which I feel like I've been doing for the last couple of episodes, and I do apologise about that. But now let's get on to something a bit different. So we'll drive this back to the yard. Potentially, let's chuck those trees in the van again. Just get rid of them. As soon as I get back to the yard, in fact no, there's a lay-by coming up. We'll pull into the lay-by and we'll just have a little bit of a quick planning session and work out the cheapest fertilizer spreader, because that's what we need to do. I think that's where we need to go. The greenhouse has got a little bit of water. That'll probably get us through a couple of days, so we can afford to spend some money on something else for a minute. Brilliant. Right. So while we're here, contracting, see fertilizer, and let's have a look. So field 43, to give us an idea, so they're paying £4,600. I forgot what number I said, for 43. So how big is 43? Where is 43, in fact? Okay, right, so that's probably one of the biggest fields on the map. Yeah, definitely. So we want to maybe see how much they pay to do something this size. 24 or something like that. So okay, field 20. Right, which one is field 20? And typically, like a lot of maps, there doesn't actually seem to be any order to the numbering. I'm probably just being blind. Where is 20? Where is field 20? Oh, it's right there. Okay, so that is quite a big field still. So that's good. Again, I don't want to be earning money too easily. Right, let's go back. So number 2, 1600. Number 13 is 2000. So number 2, 4, 3, 2. Okay, I mean that's not very big actually because it's got that kind of strange little section going around it. And number 13, wasn't it? Oh, which again, that doesn't look too bad. That doesn't look too bad at all. Now the fertilizer spreader that we're going to be able to afford, well, we can afford, but we will be able to once we sod the tree, is probably going to be small. Now I've not used some of the ones I've just installed, but they look good. So this one here for 3000, 36 meter spread. These don't seem to tell you what horsepower is required, but with that, by the time that's fully loaded, we'll probably need to go back and buy the weights, and they were 3000, so that essentially is going to cost 6 grand, so out of our budget. Yeah, that is the one. So it doesn't hold a great deal, it only has a 10 meter spread, but it's £750. Oh, and to be fair, it does hold a little bit more and it doesn't cost anything, so we'll go with that. What does that do? And attaches. You can attach a trailer hitch to it as well, that could be handy. So £750 is what we need to go for. And we can even colour match it. So hopefully then we're going to make about 400, 430 quid, something like that from those trees, which I think potentially it's about half a tree. Maybe half a tree's worth about 500 quid, so we might just do it. Then we'll move on to our first contracts, which would be great. So, you know, I've done a few hours on this now. I think I've already forgotten which episode number I said this was. I think this is episode 5. So in episode 5 we're actually doing our first bit of farming work. Given we're playing Farming Simulator, I think it's about time. It's about due we do something like that. So I thought when I first got this it felt quite fast. Now I realise I was wrong. And 15 miles per hour is not fast. It's quite nice to drive it in first person view. I like to do this a lot, if I'm honest with you. I do quite like to do first person view as much as I can. The only reason I haven't been doing it in the van is because the inside of it is actually detailed, but every time you get in there, it thinks the back of the van is the front. And I think that's kind of a collision issue with the realistic cab view mod, because I have had it before and other things. But yeah, it's a bit annoying every time, and because it restricts your turning, you can't do a 360 turn with that mod on. You can't actually look all the way to the left or all the way to the right whilst you're driving it, so that is a little bit frustrating. Right, here we are. I've just realised, why did I drive this all the way back when in a minute we're going to be buying a fertilizer spreader? That didn't really make any sense at all. But we've done it now. I just wanted to drive it. I like it. I like it very much. It's pretty detailed. This was the one that I downloaded, I think, from Modern Network. It's probably on a lot of the third parties, to be honest, because they do tend to have similar mods anyway. But that's actually for a third party site. That's quite a detailed one. Yeah, that is very detailed, in fact. Right, let's turn the torch off. Let's open up the back of the van. And we'll just quickly do these trees. I will speed this up again because I've done my fair share of trees already, so I'll speed it up and I'll catch you again in a mo, hopefully with enough cash to buy a spreader. See you in a bit. Okay, great. So here we are. So I've loaded up the remaining few logs, not too many. You've probably noticed I made use of the stumps, which I cut quite high. That's a habit, only because when you do playthrough and you use the lumberjack mod, if you cut them too low, you can't actually then get rid of the stumps. But I figured actually, because it's doing, oh there we go, I'm getting good at that. Because we're going to do this properly, we're going to use a stump grinder. It doesn't really matter. In fact, they need to be quite low, otherwise the stump grinder won't work. So hopefully you've seen it in the time lapse, but there are pretty much 70–80% of the stumps that were left over are actually in there, and I'll cut them down as low to the ground as I could. So a little bit more money. Obviously what we're looking for is about 450 quid would probably cover it. The only thing you've got to consider is you do have to supply the fertilizer yourself when you do those missions. So a little bit more would be great, please. Let's see what we get. Oh wow, yeah, that was much more than I thought. Brilliant. Okay, so 1231, that puts us up to £1,548, which is great. So that it won't buy us a big bag, or it won't buy us a pallet of fertilizer, but it will buy us those £50 bags which have 100 litres, and the capacity was only 300, so 150 quid for fertilizer and the fertilizer spreader, which I've forgotten the price already, to be honest with you, but about £1,000 should cover it, I think. So that's great. Now I wonder, just while we're in the van, let's head to the shop. I wonder if when it's empty we are able to pick it up without using the super string. So we'll just try it a minute. Now I quite like vans and pickup trucks in Farm Sim. A lot of people I've played with in the past have mentioned they're a bit pointless, but for me, certainly for this type of game mode, it's great to have a vehicle that can do a lot of speed and get you to the shop and back really quickly. So you've seen how long it took to drive the tractor around. If you can do as much as possible in things like vans or pickups, I just think it's great. I think they're one of the best parts of the game. Certainly something that makes it feel realistic. So but hey, you know, I'm singing the praises of the van again, and I might not be even. Oh dear! Notice that smoke? Wow, that's not great, is it? Why has it suddenly started smoking? I was saying earlier on, I really like this mod, and I really do. It looks like it's about to catch fire. That's great. That's great. It is a shame that I couldn't do any service on it, but that is cool. There's a lot of vans driving around like that around here as well, that's for sure. Right, anyway, we'll pretend we didn't see those collectibles there. Now we'll give that a bit of a rest for a minute. I'm going to stop the engine because I think it might actually be on fire, and I haven't got the fire truck mods installed, so we might actually need those for the first time. The flickering is getting less now. No, it's not getting less at all. Spoke too soon. Hopefully that fixes itself in the next month. But right, what were we doing? Spreader, fertilizer spreader, right to the end. Right, good. 750 quid. That was for free. What did that do? Doesn't really make any difference. Do we need the trade hitch? The thing is, let's, for 30 quid, now that we've got the extra, let's do it now to save us having to bring that all the way back. Just in case we need it in the future. And let's have a look. The price didn't change, did it? So let's go with something a bit different. Let's go with blue. So 780 quid, 330 litre capacity. So while we're here, let's buy, I believe they were in bags. Yeah. Let's get 3 of the fertilizer bags. While we're here, how much have we got? Let's get some more and we can chuck those into the greenhouse when we get back as well. because I would imagine fertilizer is probably one of the things that goes down the quickest. So can we pick it up? No. No. That is a shame. That is a shame. Part of me wants to pick it up. So, you know, I don't think I'm particularly strong, but I'm pretty certain I would be able to pick that up to put it into a van. In real life, it doesn't look like it's that heavy. It's just some metal work, really. So I'm going to do it, and I'm going to say it's not cheating. So I'm just going to pick that up, put it into the back. If it fits. If it doesn't fit, we'll do it properly. Although everything fits in this van, because it just sticks out the side. Yeah, that's fine. Good. So let's just chuck these in the back. We'll I won't let you watch all of this boring stuff. I'll jump back in just as we get to the greenhouse though, and with the remaining bags I'll show you where I figured out how to put these bags, just in case you've not used that greenhouse mod before, but it did take me a while. It took me a frustratingly long time actually to do the greenhouse yesterday, so much so I actually paused it and came off it temporarily before I threw my gaming laptop across the dining room. But yeah, just in case you ever decide to use it, I'll show you. That is really smoking a lot. That is really smoking a lot. Oh, and good tip is don't forget to put straps on. That's pretty helpful, really. This fertilizer is going to be useless by the time I get it back. Look at all that smoke getting there. Right, let's strap that down. Hopefully that also strap the fertilizer spreader in place. So I'll drive back and I'll meet you at the farm. Okay, so here we are, just coming back to the farm now. It's nice and dark. I can't really see where I'm going, but the light of the greenhouse is guiding us. Interesting. Oh no. Yeah, I didn't do that. I didn't do that. We are definitely going to have to look at... I mean, this wasn't planned, but getting that tractor was good timing. Because this van is not going to survive. Not at all. Okay, I'm pretty sure I seen a bag of fertilizer sticking out of the engine bay. But maybe not. How many did I buy? I can't remember. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I'm pretty certain I bought 6. So where has that gone? I'm sure when I turned into the corner I seen it sticking out. I wonder if I've just kind of abandoned a bag of fertilizer on the road somewhere. Right, anyway, enough chatting. So, same again. Let's put super strength on, pull this out. Yeah, I've definitely lost a bag. Right, let's just pop that there. Super strength back off. Cool. So let's fully load that up a minute. Oh, that was quick. I just realised that I like the animation. Just realised I put it in the wrong way around, so I'll just very quickly turn that the other way. Right, there we go. So I'm pretty sure it should take 3 and a bit bags. Is that it full? Yeah, okay. So we'll head over here. So yeah, I figured out in the end, if you just literally chuck them onto the floor, it takes them. But it did take me a while to figure that out. Quite frustrating. But yeah, just chuck it. Don't chuck it that far. That was a bit too far. Brilliant. Right, how is this looking, by the way? So it actually seems to be the water that it drains the most, in fact by far, because I'm pretty sure we put, was it 2, maybe 3,000 in there, so we are going to have to consider that. Now I have got buckets and things installed, by the way, so we might have to do it the old fashioned way and just do a bucket at a time, which I think only does like 100 litres at a time. But anyway, that's fine. Now, has this got the power to reverse back into the shed? Hopefully. I think this is probably it now again, so good timing really. 7 o'clock, it's November, so it's pretty dark, but stop that, brilliant. But it's been good, it's been another productive episode, so we have that, which is amazing. I do really like it. I've barely used it, but I like it. It looks pretty good. That's going to need some sort of service very, very soon. The spreader is definitely going to help us out because we can get onto those contracts. Be curious to see how long the fertilizer actually lasts. I tend to find with these smaller spreaders it lasts a bit longer because it doesn't seem to use so much. I think it had a 10-meter spread if I remember reading it correctly, so that's fine. Smaller fields. This is looking pretty good. What have we got in there at the minute? So it's not far off generating a second pallet. Again, I reckon we could have 4 of those by January or February, which would be amazing. So that'll put us in another 4 or 5 grand, I think. So that'll be a nice boost. So a couple of contracts, a few pallets of lettuce, and we'll be able to start making a little bit of progress. So again, thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. I am gonna put not a pause on this, just temporarily. I'm gonna head back, and my next objective is to do a recording in the roleplay story mode. So if you haven't seen that yet, it's the series that I started doing first of all, when I was an absolute amateur 4 or 5 weeks ago. But it's the one that takes a lot of time, and I put a lot of effort into doing it, pre-setting up the map and trying to create a story mode that's a bit different. And very realistic as I can get, to be honest. So that episode should be out soon. Hopefully I can record that tomorrow, which is actually on Friday tomorrow, so hopefully I can do it Friday. Should be out Saturday hopefully, and then I'll catch you again for these ones very, very soon. But thank you very much. I hope you've enjoyed it, and yeah, on to the next one. Bye bye.